What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Highlife Reel. I'm Bill Rom.
Josh Shapiro.
And let's get started with today's headliner. Headliner thing today was, to me, the Blake Griffin trade. Shock. Out of nowhere. Especially the team that traded for him. Like, I don't see a positive of why Detroit made the trade. I get that they made the trade. Because now from a low post presence, they have Drummond. They have Blake Griffin. They have the superstar name. They have a personality. They have a person who can draw other free agents. But that team doesn't have a pull right now.
Yeah.
And Blake has got to be unhappy. You're going from being a lifelong LA Clippers, drafted out of college, like living
in LA,
living in Cali, doing it up, being in commercials, to you're in Detroit, Michigan, which is poverty-stricken as parts of it. Like, he has two ways I think he could go. You embrace it, and you become even bigger than you were for LA. Like, even though you were a star, you could be like the hope and the dream for Detroit.
Yeah, the face.
Right? Or he immediately is positioning himself to, how do I get out of here?
Yeah.
But right now he looks stuck. Detroit gets Blake. The Clippers get back the two big names in it were Tobias Harris, Long Island boy, Half Hollow Hills, and Avery Bradley, who in the offseason was flipped to Detroit to necessitate the trade for Kyrie with Cleveland. Avery Bradley's contract got off. Who do you think got the better end of the trade?
I'm thinking in terms of, I would say Clips.
Man,
they got draft picks too.
I think that Blake, to me, is underrated because I don't watch as many of his games because he's in LA,
right,
and
on the West Coast.
You got a 10:30 p.m. game on the East Coast.
Yeah.
I don't catch as many. Tobias was having a great year. He was leading the team in scoring. He was putting things together. For his career, he's always been like a mellow light.
Yeah.
And he's still been a mellow light and to a very good degree this past year. You go to LA, it's great for him. He's got 1-year contract. He's going to get to be in a big market to see what he can do. I really think the Clippers did an amazing job. You got out from Blake's contract. Blake's got another $170 million or something like that.
A lot of money
left on his contract.
A lot of Kias.
They just a lot of Kias. That's a lot of Kias. Facts. What do you think that this does for the NBA landscape?
I mean, I don't think it does much, to be honest with you. I don't think it shakes up like that crazy. Like we said, Detroit was still really far off, and they're still going to be a lot far off. It definitely helps out with getting the free agents. It's a nice little draw for them, but who knows if he wants to be there. Just like we've seen in other sports with baseball players on the Marlins, everyone got traded away. Yelich like, yo, I'm out. Ozuna's like, I'm out. Even Starling Castro gets traded, they're like, I'm out. You don't want to be in a team like that in some part of your career. You're at the point, Blake's at the point where he doesn't want to be on a team that's building up. He wants to be on a point that he's on a championship team. So I don't think it does much, but I think it actually does a lot because I think he won't stay there. I think it's going to create something for another team.
See, I don't know how it's going to end up happening, but you have a weak Eastern Conference that just got a player who's been an all-star in the Western Conference. He's been sharing the low post and the duties there with DeAndre Jordan, and Drummond is a really nice player, but he's more of a defensive rebounder, not a point scorer. Blake is more of a point scorer, not a rebounder, everything else. It gives you a decent dynamic for the Eastern Conference. Reggie Jackson's still there, who's a good point guard. I think that team could get themselves that they squeak into being a back-end Eastern Conference team this year. The thing that I think it does is any other team that's interested in making a trade doesn't have to worry about making the biggest trade of the offseason. Like, I think sometimes, like, a trade that I really would love to see happen as a Knicks fan, but also think I just think it makes sense, is I think Courtney Lee to Oklahoma City would be a great trade. And I think that you wouldn't have to worry about that being like this big dramatic thing and the big move of the offseason. Big move of the offseason's been set. If DeAndre Jordan gets traded also, another big move is set. I think it's going to open up the trade market because everybody's going to be more open to exploring some ideas. sometimes I feel like you don't want to be the talk of the offseason for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And now I think you have the Clippers, who are obviously sellers in the market, planting their self in the flag and saying, hey, we're out. And I think that'll open up more teams to be sellers. And you'll start having people pick lines. So I don't think that this is a big shift in terms of who's going to have power. I think it will make it for an interesting trade season for the NBA. And I think that it does make it an interesting situation for Detroit next year when they're looking at free agents and people to come in. Who wants to go team up with Blake and Drummond in Detroit?
It's always the power of three in NBA.
Yeah, but you have two. I think you have two really good players on that team. Reggie Jackson's a nice piece. They might be one player away from being able to make some noise in the Eastern Conference, because from a big man standpoint, their big men are not massively worse than the Cousins, big man market down there with the Pelicans. So interesting things going on there. But the big thing I think it's going to open up is a lot of trade season. See how it goes down. And also see if Blake still gets commercials, or does he fall into obscurity. He's got to be fucking pissed. He's got to be upset.
Yeah, I would be.
Going to LA, it's cold in Detroit. He's in a whole new look. If you're Tobias Harris, you got to be happy.
Yeah.
Tobias has got to be ecstatic, because you're in LA. Even if you're only a short season rental and then you're a free agent again, you're now in a big market. You're going to get to be in some big market games. You're going to get to see a whole bunch of people, showcase your skills a little bit more outside of Detroit. So big for Tobias. Moving on, guys. Next thing we have is Between the Lines. This week, big thing that I had between the lines, my favorite game of the week, Golden State versus Boston, 109 Golden State, 105 Boston. Kyrie versus Steph was a point guard scoring battle.
Yes.
You have Kyrie stat line, 37 points, 4 assists, 13 of 18 from the field, 5 of 6 from three-point range. You got Steph, 49 points, 5 assists, 16 of 24 from the field, 8 of 13. There was no offense. This was an all-star game performance for each of them. What do you take of that game? Is Steph the better player? Is Golden State the better team? Or is this just a one-off game where two guys were just going after it and both teams
I don't think it's a one-off game. I know we talk a lot on the show about Steph and how he's not as elite as the other guys. The thing with Steph is he does performances like this where he could just ball out. Like, it's scary. Like, if he really wants to, turn a switch sometimes, he could turn a switch. When he's healthy, there is not many NBA players that are better than Steph Curry. But on that end, there's also Kyrie Irving. I mean, I think it was just one of those games where it was just two good teams going at it. I don't think it shows that the Golden State's better than Boston and that Kyrie's not as good as Curry. I think it's just one of those games where you're going to see guys when they play their best, when they play the best teams, they're going to play their best. So
I think it was a great example, though, of the difference in the game between Kyrie and Steph. Kyrie's game has always been about his handle, and Kyrie can get to the basket pretty much at will.
Yeah.
But getting to the basket and getting 2 points is fantastic. And, again, he shot a better percentage from the fields. He shot better from three-point range. The big disparity you see is that Steph scores 12 more points, and he only makes 3 more shots. And that difference is the fact that he's making more three-point shots than Kyrie. Kyrie shot 80% from three-point range in the game. Kyrie's idea of always getting to the basket and breaking offense down, current NBA structure, you got to shoot those threes more. You shoot 5 of 6 from three-point. You didn't shoot enough.
Yeah.
Steph literally outshot him by double, from three-point range. And if he had just taken those extra shots on a night where you were hot and your hand was hot, chuck up some more threes. You got an open look, even if it's slightly contested, shoot it. And that's one thing that Steph does. Steph has earned his right to just every three-point shot he makes can be a heat check shot. Mm-hmm. He could be 5 feet behind the three-point line and shoot it. And he's got extreme confidence that it's going to go in because he's made it enough times. But also, nobody's going to be like, oh, Steph lost the game because he missed a bunch of those. Everybody's like, hey, you might lose a couple of games because of that, but you're going to win a bunch of games you shouldn't win because of this. And in a game where Boston lost by 4 points, the difference in the game is Steph is taking more threes. And
risk reward.
And I look at that and I say Kyrie's got to adapt a little bit to that situation because he just shoots more threes in that game. That game's a different game. and it's a mindset shift for him from his play style. Uncle Drew's got to take some more threes, stop getting to the basket as often, because I think this is the same kind of stat line that you'll end up seeing in the playoffs. It's what you would see in a finals game, where Kyrie and Steph are going to have these nights where it's just them versus the world. And how does that look? I got to see Kyrie take more 3 points.
Fair.
Next thing between the lines, it's a little jump ahead between the lines. It's a prediction of what's going to happen between the lines. Super Bowl is this Sunday. Who do you have and why?
Patriots.
Patriots, give me a score.
31-24.
31-24 Patriots. I am going to go 31-28. And I'm flipping it. I think it's Eagles.
It's Patriots. That's my reason. It's the Patriots. It's Tom Brady. It's Bill Belichick. It's the Patriots. Tom Brady's laughing at media day. He knows he's going to come in there and just show the world, all right?
Just because he's been there so often. He's so calm about it. It's just the Super Bowl. I've already won 5 of them.
I'm there. It's just my casual Sunday in a February.
What do I need to worry about? I've been here before. I've gone. The one, and I would normally say, hey, the Patriots look really weak for a while. I still think that last week's game, to have to come back from 10 points down to Jacksonville at home is concerning to me. They were the Patriots. They did it at the end of the game. I don't think the Jags were that strong. Nobody thought they were that strong. They played the Bills. They have to go for it on 4th and 2 to score their only touchdown of the game. Then they blow out the Steelers, but the Steelers' offense in the second half, every time they touch the ball, they score a touchdown. Yeah. So that game doesn't look really like Jacksonville strong. And then Jacksonville is whooping down on the Patriots. And I get Gronkowski gets knocked out. But then you see the next game, and the next game is an extremely strong Vikings team that's got every storyline. Their defense is amazing. They fly to the ball. Their offense is balanced. They've got receivers on the outside. They've got strong running backs supporting them. Their offensive line moves.
They got bodied.
And they got bodied. They got run out of the building. They didn't look like they belonged on the field. And the Eagles looked like every facet of their team is unreal. Unreal. Your quarterback can make it rain. You have wide receivers across the board. Your running game is intense. You can hand it to Jay Ajayi. You can hand it to LeGarrette Blount. You need a yard, that team can get a yard. You're not stopping that team if they need 1 yard. And
we'll see. We'll find out. I gotta go Patriots.
On defense, the Eagles' defense looks so real. And
they have confidence, I'll give you that. They have a lot of confidence, a lot of team chemistry, I'll give you that, and that goes a long way. But when you're playing my boy Tom Brady,
don't call him your boy.
Because he's not my boy, I hate him. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, it's game over.
Guys, usually we don't ask for it, but if you're in the comment section and you're watching it, we want to hear your guys' Super Bowl predictions. Who do you think's going to win? What do you think's going to be the score? I feel like we should give somebody something, or we could
TB12.
Yeah, we'll give you a session at TB12 if you predict it correctly. Guys, this week's Moments of Greatness. Every week we throw up some moments of greatness from our fan-submitted videos. You guys out there being awesome, doing something crazy. Send us in your videos. You can go to Moments OG on Instagram. Submit your videos. The best ones every week get posted on that. Follow us there and send them in, and you get to watch these Moments of Greatness.
Roman. Beautiful, dude. Oh, perfect, man. Keep going. Good hustle, good hustle. Nice, dude. Rip it.
What's going on, everybody? Like every week, we end the show with the finisher. The finisher, we always ask you guys in the comment section what you feel. We try to give you guys something that we can talk about, a big talking point that you guys can get involved with us. The one this week that we decided on was XFL returning in 2020. Vince McMahon has promised that this is going to be less flashy than the previous one, and it's going to be more legitimate football. What are your thoughts on XFL?
So a few things. One, I don't know if I'm sure you heard that he doesn't want any guys with criminal records, DUIs, any of that. So that was a little scandal with Johnny Manziel. Will Johnny Manziel be able to play? I mean, if you're going off based off what Vince McMahon said, that's a no.
Yep.
But a lot of people said that he's not going to start this league without Johnny Manziel because that's the splash that he needs to get into the XFL.
See, I don't think
that's another story. That's another episode for another time. XFL, I'm happy about it because I am miserable with the NFL this whole year. I told you I barely watched. I hate the NFL. I'm just tired of the NFL. So good. I hope the XFL does well. I want to watch the XFL. If they bring in some good guys, some good talent, I will watch the XFL.
I think that this was, and especially this playoff season for the NFL, I think this playoff season revitalized the NFL.
But the playoff season is always great. You always have good games.
You had amazing storylines to me in almost every game. Even you go down and you say the Tennessee Titans beat Kansas City Chiefs by a point. The Jacksonville Jaguars Buffalo Bills game, as bad as it was offensively, it now looks like both teams were just sick defensively, right? They might both have had some offensive issues, but both teams' defenses are legit because Jacksonville then went on to put up 65 points in 2 weeks against two teams that were Super Bowl contenders.
Right.
They only put up 10 points against Buffalo. The whole playoff year was a great one. You had storylines across the board. You had upsets. You had the Vikings game where you have the catch and the comeback and all this stuff.
But we're talking about the XFL.
No, and I'm saying, like, to me, the XFL, like, everybody talks about how football is dying, and now there's another league that is coming in to be football.
It's not that football is dying. It's the NFL is dying because of the way that they've been portrayed, the way that they've done and handled situations has been absolutely miserable. There's so many things wrong with the NFL, but there's so many things right with the NFL.
And that's the thing.
They need to work on
numbers.
So
don't lie.
many things.
Numbers don't lie.
So many things.
And they know they need to. They allowed celebrations to come back into the game because they couldn't keep being the no fun league.
The replays are miserable. The catch. What's a catch? What's not a catch?
The catch rule.
Goodell
came out the other day and said, hey, I'm concerned about it. We need to fix it because there's plays that I'm watching that are catches that are getting overturned. And again, we all know I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and Buffalo Bills had two bad calls against them where you change the course of an entire game based off of a non-catch versus a catch rule. I think the XFL is going to find a home. I think it's going to be something that works. The only way it really takes off is if Vince McMahon is willing to deal with the sacrifice of, I might not get my best league in my first 5 years. I might not do it. I think there's some interesting ideas that the XFL could do. The XFL could put an age limit on this league.
Right.
And if you put an age limit on this league and say you have to be somebody who's anywhere between 19
that's what I was saying.
And 26.
It's almost like a minor leagues. But who doesn't like
an alternative league?
But who doesn't like watching sometimes, like, there's some crazy good minor leaguers out there that help get to the major leagues, or there's the
and you look
D-League,
at European basketball and the success that it's had.
Right.
You look at people showing up to D-League games.
You need personalities. I mean, who would have been talking about Lithuanian basketball with Melo and those guys? They need. I know you don't want the Johnny Manziel, but there's another guy out there, Timothy Tebow.
So you think Tim Tebow is going to give up his Mets career to go back and be a quarterback in the XFL? Because I co-sign that so hard.
You think he will?
Tim Tebow can tell me whatever he wants, right?
It depends.
Tim Tebow doesn't want to leave America and go to Canada. Right? He doesn't want to go to an obscure league. The XFL is going to provide both a financial and a platform for Tim Tebow to stay popular. And listen, I have my feelings on Tim Tebow. That guy wants to stay in the public eye as much as he possibly can. He's doing everything he can to be relevant for as long as he possibly can. And he can say that it's because he wants his mission, he wants his word to be able to get out there. I think it's just Tim Tebow likes being famous, and he's been famous his whole life. The XFL gives him, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but you can have an ego and you can be a good person. I think that this is a place where he gets to come and be an NFL level quarterback again in the XFL and try.
I hope he comes back.
But how many quarterbacks
But
have
I
we
also
seen? I think if you're a backup quarterback for a team that was a first-round draft pick, why wouldn't you go to the XFL instead?
Yeah.
If you're Blaine Gabbert and you're making $1 million a year, if the XFL can pay you $3 million a year to be a starting quarterback, and you have all these guys who are practice squad players who, hey, you can go be a practice squad player or you can play in the XFL, play on NBC or play on the WWE network. Like, is WWE gonna, like, is World Wrestling Entertainment?
This is how I like it. I'm excited.
Are they going to make this part of their pay to watch series? Are you going to be able to watch those games on their network? If you are people going to pay the streaming fees to just download that whole thing? Right? Like, I feel like wrestling has grown even bigger, and it's growing and it's finding other avenues. If Vince McMahon is going to make this real serious push of creating this entire league, I think he's got support, but I think he needs real owners. I think he needs real owners, not just himself.
Yep.
He can come in and he can be the person who's the impetus.
I'm trying to own a team.
But yeah, the lifestyle sports team.
Yeah, it'd be lit. But I think it's gonna be interesting.
Vince, hit us up.
I think it's gonna be interesting.
So we'll kick it to you guys. Do you think the league is going to be successful this time? Do you think that they're going to infringe on the NFL and pull some of the NFL's star players? Do they do reckless?
Do they get Tim Tebow or Johnny Manziel?
Does Le'Veon Bell not want to sign for whatever he's signing for? Does Odell Beckham want to go be the face of the XFL?
That'd be pretty cool.
If they're going to give him money and they're going to throw everything at him and they're going to give him a platform to be himself, and why not?
Yep.
Why not? It's a new world.
Yep.
Social media is a bigger thing than it was when the XFL came out last time.
Yep. And
you have an opportunity that they have a very strong social game. They have a very strong online game. XFL can make some noise. Guys, leave in the comments. Hit us up on Instagram. Let us know what you guys would do. Leave your comments at the bottom of YouTube if you're watching us there. Let us know, will the XFL in 2020 be a success, or do we think this is going to be another failure for Vince McMahon and football? Guys, again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you later.